Hello and welcome, my name is Ajaxpost and this is Transport Fever, and I'd like to welcome you to another of my short tutorial guide videos. It's not a let's play, stop saying that. And this time we're looking at the new features they've added to routing for road traffic in the July 2017 gameplay update, and in particular using waypoints, and also some of the new features they've added for terminals or platforms, whichever term you want to use. In the game they're always referred to as terminals, but that doesn't really apply so much when you're talking about a bus stop or a bus station or a cargo station, freight depot if you will, whatever you want to call them. But terminal is the term they're using, so we'll stick with that. And I'm looking at a simple example map I've got here. It's a smallish town, only just developing, and I've got three routes in particular that I'm looking at for this demonstration. There are a blue route, a yellow route and the orange route. Now the blue and the yellow routes are passenger lines, taking passengers from the station at the top of the map into the commercial zone, and also then on the yellow line into the industrial zone. Now coming into the town to help its development is food coming in from a manufacturing plant way north of here, and that's dropping off on the high street here to all the local shops and supermarkets. Now what you can see here on the map is that for part of the journey all three routes are using the same stretch of road, which as the town develops could cause some congestion. I mean, particularly if I put in lots of large buses and large lorries and so on delivering their content around the town, this could get very busy, and I want to alleviate that as much as possible. And to do that I can use waypoints. Waypoints might also be useful as the town develops, because as we've seen in one of my earlier video guides, is that as a town develops dynamically, the road layout can change, and that can dramatically affect the routes that your buses and trucks use, because the game will always try and find what it thinks is the best route possible between two stops, and that might not be the route you would choose. So again, if the town does fiddle with your routes, you can use waypoints hopefully to put those buses or those trucks back on the straight and narrow, as it were, and following the roads and on the roads that you want them to use for that particular route. But for this exercise we're just going to use a simple waypoint to redirect one of these bits of traffic, the orange route, to use slightly less of this road here. Now this is where it's dropping off in the centre here, so ideally I'd like to sort of take it off immediately from this corner up there and go out that way, but I'm not going to do that. The map had already put this road in, so I'm just going to use that. It's nice and cheap and easy, and it just shows off the waypoint anyway, which is what we want to do here. So let's focus in on the map here. So how do we add waypoints? They're actually on the road menu, and they're this little sort of pointer, sticker, pin kind of icon here, and it says waypoints, as if you needed any further help. So you click on that there. You don't need to click actually, I don't think, because it's automatically selected, and it puts this symbol on your cursor. Now you'll see very handily, and this is very useful for people like me in England who drive on the left, remembering which side of the road the vehicles travel in the game on Transport Fever. So I can see that if I want to go up that way, I need to put my waypoint on this side of the road, which is exactly what I want to do. And how does that appear on the map? It's not an actual bus stop, it is simply a roadside sign. So you've got this little dot icon there to show you there's a waypoint in that location. So let's add it to our route. So on the food supplies route, the lorries are coming in, dropping off, or the white vans rather, are dropping off their load here on the commercial link stop. So after that, before they head back up to the manufacturing plant, I want to add to the route this waypoint here, and that's the job done. Now interestingly, you can see it did there. I wasn't expecting this, because I don't think it did it the first time I tried this. It's redirected the traffic, so it actually comes in down this way as well now. So what I could do is add another waypoint. This game will give you with one hand and it'll then try and take it away with the other. So we want it to come in on this route here, which is actually slightly faster. So we'll put a waypoint on here. So it's going to come into Plymouth on that waypoint there. Right, and that's better. So it comes straight down the country highway into the town, past this waypoint, drops off the food it's delivering, and then finds its way out of town using that little circuit there, rather than clogging up this main artery here for our passenger traffic. So that's it, waypoints. Very easy to do. Simply find them on the road menu and then add them into the route as you need them. But be aware, like when you add any other stop to a route, the game might adjust the route itself. So just keep an eye on the whole route, as it were, the totality of the route. Now, one other thing to say about waypoints is, in terms of positioning them, the game is treating them a bit like bus stops. Now, if I actually start off by showing you what a bus stop does. So this is a stretch of road where there's nobody actually stopping here. I put them there just for this demonstration. If I try and place two bus stops too close together, you'll see I get that sort of no entry sign. Hopefully you can make it out, but there's no bus stop being placed. If I move further away from the bus stop, then I can place it. So there is a kind of zone of influence kind of thing going on here, where you can't place two bus stops too close together. It simply won't let you. And the same is true of the waypoints. So if I try and place a waypoint here next to this bus stop, it's having none of it, either of them. I have to move a little distance away from the bus stop before I can place the waypoint, which may be an issue. If you've got a tightly packed town and you want to use a waypoint to redirect a particular route to a specific bus stop, then you may find that waypoints aren't the best solution, or they simply won't let you place them close enough or in the right place to adjust your traffic routing. So to that end, we could use the new terminal selection feature in the game. Now, I'm going to come back to using it with these bus stops in town in a moment, but I just want to show you it somewhere else where it's perhaps slightly more obvious what it's doing. And that's up here in the freight station, the freight depot for our food manufacturing plant. We've actually got 3 lines running here. There's food coming in from the farm, and then on the orange, that's the green line. The orange line is taking the food down to Plymouth, and this recently added, in fact, purple line taking food out to Exeter. And as you can see, kind of there, that each route is using a different platform to drop off or pick up its cargo. Now, what I might do, because at the moment this back dock here, this back deck here, this back platform, is being used by the Plymouth route. What I think I might prefer to have, purely for whatever reasons I have, is to move the farm delivery of livestock or wheat to the back and have the food sort of pickup coming out from the 2 side platforms. So let's go into that route, the farm supplies route, and this is the Exeter Foods stop. So we'll go to Exeter Foods and click on the platform icon, or the terminal icon here, and you can see here it numbers them all, 1, 2 and 3, and at the moment the farm supply route is dropping the livestock and wheat off at platform 1. I might want to change that to go to the back, as I said, so I'll just click on that sort of platform icon there and say use terminal 2 instead, and notice it's immediately moved the other 2 routes as well. So if it can, it will try and readjust so you're using as many platforms as available for all your routes. And notice it's obviously moved the stored food here to this side deck as well, just so, because that's where route 2, the food is going off to. So that's selecting a platform in somewhere like this, and we can see for Exeter Supplies we're using terminal 3, which is the one on the side here. Those are fine. I think I'm happy with that now, so I'm going to leave it be. One other thing while we're here to notice that came in with the update is there's a new icon here on filling the vehicles up. the consist up. So we're familiar with these icons of do not fill, wait for at least one type of cargo to fill up, or full load of anything, or ensure that every wagon is full. These mostly apply obviously to trains where you've got lots and lots of wagons and you want to fill up as best you can, and if you're carrying multiple types of cargo you may not want to wait till it fills up everything. You may just want to say, well, as long as you're full of something, at least one selection of goods is full to capacity, then that's fine. So you could select from either those. Don't wait for at least something to fill up, or wait for everything to fill up. They've added this new icon here, which is unload only, which means nothing will be picked up. It will only ever drop off, and that can be very handy. So for example, if on this route I had the farm goods going in to the station and then taking out the food, it's possible that if for some reason it was stacking up with food here as well, some lorries might take food out. If there's no, sorry, might take out the livestock from here. If there's no food waiting, they'll fill up with whatever they can pick up, and that might in this case be farm goods. This isn't a terribly good example. That probably better applies to trains again, to be honest, where you've got a multiple consist. But this means that if you're delivering steel to a factory, it doesn't pick up tools on the way back out again, or something like that. So it's a great way of making sure you're only delivering what you want to deliver and you're not wasting space in your vehicles picking up stuff they shouldn't. Okay, so that's basic terminal selection. Now I'm going to show you another example, which is where I first found this to be particularly interesting, or you might say frustrating, to do with in-town bus stops. Now at the moment, as we've seen, we've got our two passenger routes which are delivering passengers directly from the station to the commercial and industrial zones. But there is another zone here which is primarily residential. So what I would like to do is have both of these routes pick up any passengers from here if they can. So what we'll do, we'll add, the main station is called Plymouth Exchange, so we'll add that stop in there. Now you'll see immediately it's picked a rather odd route to do that. So it's coming down from the station, round this loop and up, which is curious to say the least. Let's just add in the industrial route. So let's do the same thing there. So I'd like to take you to there. Now in doing that, the game has quite cleverly worked out, actually a slightly better route might be to send the commercial down there directly and send the industrial on this weird loop before it goes off to the industrial zone there. Now that is simply wasting time and a totally ridiculous layout of routes. What I would like is have both my buses come down here, whether they're commercial or industrial commercial routes rather, and pick up whatever passengers from this stop here on this side of the road. So this is what I tend to do. I tend to put bus stops on both sides of the road, because you never know when I might want to pick up going in the other direction. That's perfectly fine. If you only had one bus stop on one side of the road, then this probably isn't much of an issue. But let's see what happens here. Now this is where the frustration came in. I tried to place a waypoint here to say on the industrial zone, come down here. But as you can see, I couldn't place the waypoint there to sort of bring it in from here. I could place it here, but that's a bit wrong, placing it after the bus stop. So I couldn't get quite the result I was looking for most elegantly using waypoints. So what I discovered is that these are in fact two platforms or two terminals at the same stop. So they are in fact, as you can see here, Grange Road Terminal 1, which is the commercial route, and Grange Road Terminal 2 is what the industrial route is using, so it's going up the other side. That's all good, I thought. Right, so what I need to do is the industrial one here, I need to change that from using platform 2, and again you can see they're highlighted in the map there, 1 and 2. You should use Terminal 1. But what the game does, it says, oh hang on, you've got two routes arriving at this stop, there are two terminals or two platforms to use, so I will spread them out equally. And that's not the result I wanted, because as you can see, it's now the commercial route that takes the loop route down there, which is bogus. Should we use that word? I think we will. Now what you can do here is you can fix, you can lock the terminal use. Now if you don't leave that locked, then it will just pick whatever it thinks is best. That's the automatic terminal picking. But if I lock that to terminal 1, so I'll lock it, there's a little greyed out lock symbol there next to the number, just about make it out, to terminal 1. And then do exactly the same thing for the commercial route. Lock it and select terminal 1. And there they are. Unfortunately you can't see the yellow route, is hidden underneath the blue. But that's what it's doing. So both routes, if I take the commercial one out, they're both now using that same side of the road to pick up passengers, and that's the most elegant solution for both routes rather than going around this circle here rather bizarrely. So that's it. Two very useful updates they've made, Urban Games have made to Transport Fever in managing your road routes. You have the waypoint now, which you can stick in, as we've done there, to direct traffic on a route along a particular road. And you've now got the terminals selection, which you can now use either in sort of proper stops, or stations rather, like bus stations here or railway stations, which we're used to. The platform terminal thing works on train stations exactly the same way, but I'm only going to cover road in this guide. And it also works on ordinary bus stops, which is what caught me by surprise and which I thought was, that guide is a job well done. So there you are, using waypoints and terminal selection and terminal locking, as we just saw, to manage and make your routes the most efficient you can given the road layout you have in the town. So you may not need to demolish lots of houses and build lots of roads. If the existing road network is suitable, then you should be able to use these new features to get your routes most organised most efficiently. So there you are, that's it. Road route improvements in gameplay update from July 2017 in Transport Fever. So that's it. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you found this useful. If you have, do leave us a like. If you have any thoughts, comments, suggestions or criticisms even, it'd be great to hear from you. Just leave a note in the comments box below. And of course, if you'd like to see more of these or any of my Let's Play series, in fact, then why not subscribe to the channel? And then you'll be notified as soon as I upload another one. But from me, Ajaxpost, here in Transport Fever, for now, bye bye.